Hello, I am Tiffany Watson, Director of the Edward J. Lewis II Lawyers in the Classroom program. Thank you for joining us for the Lawyers in the Classroom program series. Today, we'll hear from Mr. Luc Attlan about his experience as a volunteer attorney and why he partnered with the Lawyers in the Classroom program. Welcome, Luc.
Thanks for having me. I've always liked volunteering. Been doing it since I was in high school, actually, and I also like teaching. So the Lawyers in the Classroom kind of allowed me to volunteer and to be a teacher, even though that's not my day-to-day job. And I happen to love constitutional law back in law school. It's not one of those types of law that you get to practice a lot in a law firm. So really, it allowed me to volunteer while doing something that I like about a topic that I'm very interested in. Well, I've been doing Lawyers in the Classroom for, I think, at least 10 years. And so I think I've actually done probably all the programs, all the lesson plans. And the one that's most memorable is that I have most memorable is the no weapons in the classroom. And it's a good lesson plan in my view, because it really gets kids thinking about rules and laws in all different areas. It's not specific to one particular cultural issue or moral issue, or it's really more about the interpretation versus in reading the law versus the intent of the law, what's written. And sometimes and it's usable in many contexts, meaning it allows us to, during the lesson plan, kind of go on tangents and use other examples. So just to give the specifics about the lesson plan, a rule comes out that no weapons are allowed in the classroom. So you engage into a discussion, and it starts at the very high level as a very simple rule that should seem to be easy to understand for everybody. But then you bring up these examples, someone bringing a bat to school because they're on the baseball team. Well, the bat in that case wouldn't be a weapon. The other hand, if it's someone who's bringing it to beat up or to defend himself, then it is a weapon. And a pencil could be a weapon, or a pair of scissors could be a weapon, or your hands could be a weapon. So it allows for a discussion that's interesting, and then the kids really start to participate. And ultimately, that's the best part of the program, is if you can get kids to participate as opposed to just show up and speak in front of the classroom. And here you really do get kids interested. I think they gain really two things. One, just the obvious one, is they learn that the Constitution and just the law in general have two layers. There's the layer that's easy to get, that everyone sort of knows, but then there's the real layer, which is the substance of it, how it gets interpreted, the nuances, and they get to experience what as lawyers we go through day in, day out, which is that you could think an apple is green, just like you might think something is right or wrong, and then with arguments and with peeling behind the facts, you could find yourself thinking the apple that was green is really red. And now you're thinking, nah, there's no way it's red. And then you realize it's red, and now you're convinced it's red, until you get more facts and you realize, no, it actually is green. And now you realize why it's green and not red. And then you get more facts and you realize, oh my God, it is actually red. And you do that so many times that eventually you realize, I don't even know what color this apple is anymore. And so the kids will kind of turn to us and say, well, what is the answer? I mean, what is the one? And they're almost giving up. Like this thing that started off so easy, they're almost wanting. And then we tell them, it turns out it's green. But then we always finish by saying, but that's really just what the Supreme Court's most recent decision was. It could go back to red at some point. And that's really the point, is just to realize that in life, there's not too many things that are sort of black and white. It's always nuanced. And the law is the same way. And in the US in particular, we really don't, everything is always up for debate and for change. And so that's really the first thing. I think the second thing they gain, it might be even more important than the first thing, they sort of see us. And I just know in my life, I never met a lawyer in a law firm or in a big company until my first interview with a law firm. So I never,
Wow.
and we sort of all have this image in our head. I think that we're all kind of stuffy and I don't know, big law firms, and I'm not. So it's an opportunity for the kids to see something different, and just having, and most of my colleagues aren't either. So it's a way for the kids to see that, it's attainable. First of all, it's not that hard. I mean, it is hard, but it's hard work. It's continuing to go to school, things like that. And it's a good, they get to see us, and that's probably what I think they leave with the best impression of. Like they like us, as opposed to just learning about the law. I that's the, I mean, like I said, if you like to volunteer and you get pleasure from really making people happy, and I think a lot of us do. We always, especially when we're sharing something, it's like sharing your favorite restaurant or a good show. And so this is just a way of sharing something that I think is very interesting, not at all boring. And obviously, a lot of what we do is boring, but the Constitution, like I said, it stimulates good discussions, good debates. So that's the best part, and especially because the program is structured. You go into the school, and it's the same students the 3 times that you go. So, and actually, like I said, if you do it over multiple years, you'll start seeing some of the same students, and they remember us. I mean, they completely remember me, and they're like, oh, it's the lawyer, and then they're going to talk about something, even sometimes the same lesson plan with the same students. But it's hard not to get, to get happiness from seeing that. So that's what it is. I actually specifically remember a time, and I think it was the weapons lesson plan, but it may not have been. And that's just to say the program is more about the connections we make with the kids than anything else. But I just remember the whole class. But from there, you build a good story, and of course, I like to call it the ones who are paying attention, and then the person next to him, or sort of make eye contact and kind of forcing them to kind of pay attention. And just I remember the whole class being completely in a debate and having to sort of slow people down, and everyone. I mean, from all the corners of the classroom, no one was hiding. They were giving their opinions and kind of defending their views and changing their mind, which is all part of the process. And that, I mean, I'm sure it happened a couple times, but I have one distinct one in my mind that was the highlight.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Luke, for sharing your thoughts and your experiences with us today. We're so happy that you're a part of the Lawyers in the Classroom program through your firm, and we continue to be supportive. We appreciate you being supportive of the program. To learn more about the Lawyers in the Classroom program, please go to www.chicagobar.org/chicagobar/LIC.